Hey guys, Art 131, and we are in week 4 now. And I'm going to talk about assignment number 7, which is profile portrait. It says from model. You know, if you can get somebody to model for you, that's great. A lot of people can't. And so in our current situation, I'm not going to say that you have to do it that way, but you know, you might want to take a profile of your own face or somebody else's to work from, or maybe something off Bing. But you should be working from something other than your imagination. Okay, so I'm going to show you some examples of that. What I want to talk about as well is the midterm presentation, which is due next week. Now, the midterm presentation is a 5-minute PowerPoint or Google Slides type of presentation where I can scroll down. You're going to send this to me in an attachment where I can scroll down and read what you've written and see the images you provided. It should last around 5 minutes for me to do that at a normal speed. So test yourself and time it to make sure when you read it at a reasonable speed and you look at the the images you have, then you know, it should last around 5 minutes. If it's really short and there's less information than more, then it's going to be a lesser grade. You won't have another chance to redo it. And I want it next week and not some other time during the term. So that's what we're aiming for. 5-minute long presentation on an artist or an art style, an art movement. You can look those up. There are several over the century. And also, it could be something in art history. So something in art doesn't have to be drawing and painting. It can be anything in art, tattoo art, cake art, makeup art, costume art, on down the line. Ceramics, woodwork, metalwork, performance art, what else is there? Graffiti, anime, cartoons. You know, it could be on anything really that has to do with art. It could be an artist or an art style or an art movement. So that opens the door to a lot. What you do need to do is provide your own artwork relating to your subject. It doesn't have to be a copy verbatim. It can be related to, in some way or another, to your subject, what artwork you produce. Now, it could be something you're already doing outside of this class in art, and then you can show that artwork. I'm just asking for one example of your art, one piece in an image provided in the presentation, along with text and bullet points, or text anyway. Bullet points don't really work unless you're making a video and you want to speak with me, show me your presentation in a video. Some students have done that. And that's okay to do too as well. So you could have a video, you could have a presentation PowerPoint or Google Slides or something like that. But you're going to need to write text out describing what you're talking about, who it is, what it is, where it comes from, you know, some information about it. Why you like it, what's the process, if it's an art style, who it is and what they do and why they do it, and something about them. A conclusion is also good at the end. Why you like it, why you're doing this presentation is also helpful too, and to have your viewer understand where you're coming from on this. So keep all that in mind. You can ask questions as well, but I want that sent to me sometime during week 5. Okay, so that's the whole week up until that Sunday, right? So that's a long time. You have a long time to do this. Okay, so that's enough on that. If you have any questions, let me know. You'll send that to me in an email attachment like everything else we're doing. So let's talk about profile portrait, and then I'll talk about later in the week map shapes and shadows and your eyes, drawing your eyes. So portrait, of course, profile portrait, if I can talk, is a side view. What I don't want is cartoon like this, or like this, or like this. That is a cartoon style because the eyes are too big, the nose is exaggerated as a big point. This is another one that's exaggerated nose and lips and eyes. Possibly the ears a little exaggerated too. It's not quite realism. So we want to start to learn to draw in a realism sense, because then you can branch out to all the other abstract, cartoon, and all that. If you don't know where to have a basis of realism, then you don't know where to go in the other as well, in my opinion. You need to have both. So, and I teach that in this class is more realism, and then we will branch out. So, profile. Some of these are good profiles. There's kind of a scratchy way of shading. It kind of tells me of a scratchy, weathered face. So if that's what you want to convey, then that's how you may go ahead and shadow like that. More than not, skin is not scratchy. It's more smooth. So something along these lines would be more accurate. Where it's smoothed out. Now you can smooth it out with a smudger, you can use a Q-tip, you can use a rag over your baby finger and smudge out some of that tone here and there to smooth it. Okay. Some of these have more shading than not. This is a very strong drawing anyway, but the face is kind of washed out, in my opinion. The neck and everything have a lot of shadowing and good tone, but the face is kind of not as much toned. So I don't think that works as well as some other ones I'll show you. Lines around the lips, not accurate unless they're really painted on there, with a mascara pencil and painted onto your whatever they do and paint a line around the lips. Natural lips don't have a line around them. They just don't. The skin on the lips is a different tone than the face. It's a different color. It's a tone. So that's what you do, and you end up here and here with no tone, and so it creates an edge, but you don't have to draw a border around the lips. It doesn't look accurate. It looks kind of unnatural for sure. I think this one's a good one for shading. Lots of contrast. The skin may be darker than some other skin colors, or shades and tints and shades, but I think in everybody's case, nobody has skin as white as paper. So there will be some sort of a tone to the face, all of it, unless there's a real highlighted area like cheeks and noses and brow and the chin could be really white as paper, but the rest of it should have tone, and then darker tones where the light isn't hitting very much. This is going to show the shape of your subject. Like here, this is really bright here because it's shining on that part of the face. This part, no. So you really want all that in there to show the shape. You don't want a light source that's totally straight on the face, because then you're not going to have any light and dark areas. It's very difficult to draw and shade any shape into something when it doesn't have any light and dark areas. This is, a good one for shading. Yeah, there's some very bright parts, but it's only in certain areas. And then you have all the darker and mid-tones that go into darker areas and lighter areas. Mid-tones, lighter areas, darker areas. You have to see what you're looking at. You put a good light source on it so that you have lights and darks, and you can get the tones. So the whole face here has a tone that's slightly different than the paper, and except for maybe in lightest areas where the reflection of light is on the skin in that particular space, that particular area. Okay, and let's not get too abstract and, I would accept this because it's a really strong, good drawing, in my opinion, but it is slightly not real, but it's not cartoon either. I'm not sure how to describe this really. It's bordering on abstract, but it has a lot of character. So it may be the character drawing. If you do that very well and bring a character to the face that is more than what you're actually looking at, then that's probably okay. This is bordering on cartoon because the eyes look a little exaggerated, but for the most part, it is a profile of a person. Let's see. So I'm on Bing, right? And you can see many. Now, don't send something like this where it's just lines and no shading. That's not accurate. That's not how people really look in real life. They have a shade. They have a tone. This is a cool way of doing it. Very whimsical. Almost the forehead is blending into the background right there because it's so bright, though. You want to watch out for that, but I think in this particular little area, it doesn't matter as much. But the rest of the face is darker tones than the background. And that's what you want. You want it one way or the other. Okay, so you got that idea where the background's lighter, and then you got this idea where the background's darker in most cases, except for the back of the head. This is changing. So the front is darker than the face. The back is lighter than the hair. See how that works? It's really cool. It's a cool way to do it. Many ideas here to get ideas. I will provide a video, 3 videos actually, on profile, and you can check those out and get started on the best way for you to start. I say make a gesture drawing of the template of the head. Let me see if I can find template. They're sort of mapping it out here. Something like this and ends up something like that. That'll be in one of the videos. But more than not, it's kind of like an egg shape on its side. You'll see, kind of not really showing me much here. Not helping out here too much. It's kind of like a round circle with a little indent, a little extension here. If you draw an egg shape in a gesture drawing, you can start mapping out the eyes and nose, because if you go like this, it's kind of like an egg shape. Then you can put the nose and the mouth. Typically the eyes are in the middle of the head. They're not way up here, and the brow is not cut off. Big mistake students make when they send me their profile. They cut off the brow like this. They're making this little tiny head part up here, or they're putting the eyes way the heck up here. And that's not accurate. The eyes are pretty much in the middle of the head, maybe slightly above that. And then you have the nose and mouth that are kind of equally located here between the eyes and the chin. Okay? And lips have a certain shading to them, where the top is a little lighter than the bottom, and they have the reflection marks on there too, because of the light source hitting them. So you want to be conscious of those lips too. You'll see in the profile videos lots of ways to get this done. There's 3 different basic ways that kind of work together. So start with the beginning one, which is showing you kind of this image where you draw a circle and then an indentation part for not indentation, an extension and a part here for the jaw. Basically, it's sort of ending up like this. And then the other ones kind of focus in on the front of the face and then put the hair down. Either way, you're starting to learn to place eyes, nose, and mouth where they belong. Have enough of a brow and a head up here, hit top of the head, so that it's not cut off and the eyes seem way high up. See right here? It's about halfway. The eyes are about halfway in the middle of the head. You don't think of it that way, but it is true. All right? And then the nose kind of down a little further, mouth closer to the nose than the chin, but still in that area. And then the ears end, the bottom is around where the mouth and nose are meeting, and the top is right about where the eyes are. So don't put it way up here or way down here, and it's kind of on the other half of the head. Draw a line straight down, and then the ear is on the other half of that, below the eye. So it ends up being below the eye and behind the halfway mark in the head. Halfway mark, eye about in the middle. It's about in that little quadrant right there that you're going to put an ear. Okay, so watch the videos, and we'll talk to you on Wednesday, I believe, and we'll go from there. Any questions, let me know. Starting on your midterm, pick a subject, and if you have a question about it, let me know what that question is, and I'll help you out. Okay, but you should start working on that this week. All right.